Uh-oh, the background's red. You know what that means. Actually, I haven't established that it means anything, but generally red is, you know, a color that signifies bad things. Red alert, red dawn. I have had some bad luck with high power rocketry this year. If you're not keeping score, my 3-inch Wildman Punisher got destroyed with an old K-1275 and almost took out a college team's rocket in the process. I built and flew a 2-stage rocket that was supposed to go 60,000 feet with my friend Taylor. The sustainer came apart because it went a lot faster than we thought it was going to.
It lit.
No way.
It lit. Oh my God, no. Taylor, it lit.
And my Wildman 2.6-inch Punisher, the first one of that kit ever, is still somewhere in a field in Kansas. And now, unfortunately, I must report that probably the most complex rocket build I've ever done has now also been destroyed. My Beaumark, it was a Mad Cow Rocketry Beaumark. For those of you who aren't familiar, a Beaumark is a missile that was made by Boeing in the 50s and 60s, I believe. They were nuclear capable. They sold them to Canada. It was a whole thing. Other countries didn't like that the US was selling nuclear capable stuff to Canada. So I did mine with the Canadian livery because my friend Taylor also has one of these and he was going to do the American one and we were going to have a good time and drag race them. That's not going to happen now. I'll explain that in a second, but first, let's open with some good news, huh? I flew my 4-inch competitor on a K-1800 Super Thunder, which was so sick.
Going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Is that a hybrid?
No, it's Blue Thunder motor.
Solid. I thought it was loud.
Yeah. What motor was that?
The K-1800 Super Thunder.
Nice, Super Thunder, yeah. Very nice.
Right at the top, look at that.
There you go.
That rocket rules because it's old G10, like, cloth-wrapped fiberglass tube, so it's super light. The thing weighs almost nothing for its size. So this 2-grain 75mm motor kicked it 8,000 feet, which is pretty crazy. And it's just like anytime you can see 3 or 4-inch diameter Blue Thunder, Super Thunder, Super White Lightning, Propellant X, any of these fast, hard-hitting propellants, the safety standoff distance for K is a lot closer than something like if you flew an M1780. So we got all the goodness of a 75mm Super Thunder motor, but way closer than it would be if it was an M or an L. So it was super loud, super in your face. It was really spectacular. Everything went great and it was awesome. My friend David Reese took an amazing picture of the rocket, which you're looking at on the screen right now. Overall, it was a good day. It was my first day at MDARS, which I wish I had gone to earlier because I've lived here for 2 years and now I'm discovering that if I get lucky with traffic, it's under an hour away. Super cool launch site. Super cool group of people. Very cool launch site. And the recovery area is so much better than I thought it was going to be, which is why I hadn't gone there. Because I was like, yeah, I've been doing this walk through the sagebrush to get my rocket stuff for my entire life. I'm good, but it's a lot more open than I thought. So I wish I had known that because that launch site rules, and I will be back. Now let's talk about my poor Beaumark. If you aren't familiar with how much time and effort I put into this thing, it took me hours and hours. Basically, there's like this long conduit that sits on top of it, and it's all just blocks of balsa. You have to glue them all together, clamp everything up, wait for it to dry, and then you are sanding and shaping everything by hand. It's a pretty labor-intensive build, and I am not the most patient person in the world, so it really was sort of therapeutic to like go into something knowing it was going to take a long time, really take my time doing it, and it came out so good. I was so proud of this thing. Shane from hprtools.com 3D printed me some custom ramjets that go on the end of the tubes. I don't know if they're ramjets, but the intakes, so they were more scale looking. Yeah, so anyway, spent a lot of time, effort on that thing. Was pretty pretty pleased with. If you want to go check out the build, please do. Just a lot of sanding content in that video. So I decided, you know what, we're gonna fly the Beaumark. I tried to fly it a few weeks ago at a launch at Lucerne, and I found that the forward tube was bent slightly down enough that when I tried to put it on the launch rail, the tube and nose cone would drag. A coupler was seated nicely and everything. I think the shape of the conduit, like the wood might have just had a little bit of a bend to it, and it kind of influenced the tube to bend as well. So scrubbed that launch day. I put some standoffs on it so it would clear the rails, and I took it out and decided to fly this old H220 that I had. It's a bagged H220, and man, this was like one of the hardest hitting H220s I've ever seen in my life. It was so loud, so good. We had to fly it from the K distance because they were tearing the range down. I decided to fly it super late in the day. It was a little windy, and I was worried about that because, you know, it's basically a rocket with wings, and wind can have a big influence on that. And beautiful picture again by my friend David. Look at this big blue flame. It's a 29mm blue H motor. The flame is huge. It looks so sick. And unfortunately, about 300 feet off the ground on its way up, it just turned really, really hard. I don't really know what caused that turn. There's a bunch of theories about wind shear and the winds aloft and the shape of the wings. It generated lift and pulled it in one direction, which makes a lot of sense, except for if you look at the video, it goes the opposite direction that you would expect the wings to be giving it lift from. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments might have caused this. Beaumarks usually fly pretty straight, especially when you consider the fact that they really, really look like they shouldn't. A lot of people have been like, oh, you need nose weight, you need this, you need this. Yes, it had nose weight. Yes, I checked the center of pressure versus the center of gravity with the motor and all the recovery gear, and this isn't my first time flying a high-powered rocket, folks. Believe it or not. One of my bigger theories is that all of the drag from the pods on the underside combined with kind of a nasty motor. I think that was really where I went wrong, was putting an H220 in it. This is a pretty nasty 29mm motor. This one exceptionally nasty for whatever reason. I think what happened was there was enough drag there and it got going fast enough that it tried to bend the rocket in half. Just so much drag from those pods, and I'm convinced that it tried to rip the rocket apart. Because if you watch it afterwards, it turns really hard and then straightens out. Right at max Q approximately is about where this would happen. That's the max aerodynamic pressure on the airframe of the rocket, which would make sense for trying to bend it in half, would be that failure point. Afterwards, it doesn't really look like it's flying so much as it's tumbling, and then it sort of falls to the ground and flops. The ejection charge fires right as it hits the ground. Just a quick clarification for a couple people here, if you haven't caught on so far. It looks like an airplane. It looks like it should glide. It's not designed to. It's supposed to just recover with a parachute like a normal rocket. There you go. Flopped and hit the ground. The Beaumark is destroyed. One more time, let me just play it for you so you can watch it in all its glory.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, just in time. And here she is, folks. The Beaumark. I mean, in all honesty, not the worst shape of any damaged rocket I've ever had. The bulk of the damage was taken by the pods on the bottom, just sort of getting ripped off, and it could fairly easily be fixed. You can kind of see that split right there. That is what makes me think it was trying to fold in half, because not only is it sort of ripped right on the line where the two tubes coupled together, you can see there on the bottom of the wing, it's also cracked through the paint along that same line. So it really makes me think that right there was just a nice leverage point for it to try and snap this thing in half while it was going fast, but that big conduit running up the top just wouldn't let it happen. Although I think if it had more time spent at that speed, there's a good chance we just snap that balsa right in half. So admittedly, quite repairable. I was so proud of this thing. I made these decals with my vinyl plotter, and I was pretty happy with how everything came out. If you watch the video, you'll see there was, I mean, countless hours of sanding and filling and priming and filling and sanding and painting. I was pretty happy with how it came out, but I sort of went into this rocket's flight expecting something like that to happen. Just look at it, man. There's so much that could go wrong with a rocket that looks more like an airplane than a rocket. So I wasn't that surprised. I think I shot myself in the foot here. If I had done a G53, a G64, maybe even a G80, something that would have been a lot more tame, I think we would have been just fine. But that's my opinion. Flying it super fast on the super hard hitting H220, I think is what did it in, but I don't really know. So let me know in the comments what you think was the demise of my poor Beaumark. Now, like I said, it's quite repairable, and is it going to get repaired? I doubt it. What I really want to do is like put it on my wall when we move, so it's like a cool podcast background. Look at that. It's a great wall decoration, and now those big stupid pods that go on the bottom aren't in the way. I can just leave the rail buttons on and put a little piece of rail on my wall and just attach it that way. Admittedly, there is a world in my head where the Beaumark gets fixed and I try and fly it again, but here is the problem. You guys know just this year I've destroyed plenty of rockets. I am good at breaking stuff, and I have a whole bunch of rockets that need to be fixed, and the Beaumark just got at the very back of the line. Some way more favorited rockets of mine than that need repaired. My 7.5-inch Iris, my 7.5-inch Honest John. That's the rocket that got like 33 million views on a YouTube short, and it is one of my favorite rockets that I have. Another one of my favorite rockets that I have that I also hate a lot. I go back and forth on it, my 8-inch V2. The thing that just kept working too good. It's not supposed to fly straight, it's a V2. It's supposed to break the fins off on landing. It's a V2, but it just kept working and working. I put an N motor and it flew straight. I put an M2500 and it flew straight and went perfect. Eric, my boss, kindly gave me an M2225, and the flight was going so flawless, and that rocket was living such a good life that something had to go wrong, and it swung in at just the perfect angle in Argonia in a nice wet field that wedged the fin in the ground and snapped it off, even though there was carbon fiber on both sides of it holding it on. So the carbon fiber did help for the first few, but now what it's going to do is make it a giant pain in my... Oh, and my 6-inch Dare Red Max. God, that thing is cool. Yeah, I need to fix a lot of other things before the Beaumark, and the Beaumark, like I said, I was just holding it up against the wall. Back here, that thing looks great, you know? Up here, not so much. Back here, though, great. Beautiful rocket. So I think it's going to be a decoration for a while. This is probably going to be my last video that I post for a while, because myself and Shane, or as you might know him, Postart, if you watch the Anti-Gravity Group podcast or listen to it, you can find it anywhere you find podcasts. We're about to hit our 100th episode, and we are also about to move. We're moving at the end of July. My house isn't super very packed right now, so we've got a lot of stuff to do, a lot of stuff to move, not a lot of time to do it. So thank you all for watching. I wanted to keep getting videos out for you as long as I could. Let me know in the comments what you think happened to the Beaumark. If you want to see some cool rockets that I'm working on in the background, and some sneak previews of some kits that are getting released by various manufacturers, from low and mid power stuff from Estes to high power stuff from other brands that I'm not going to even mention in this video just yet, but Patreon people are going to know very soon. You can support my channel, patreon.com/rocketvlogs, or by clicking the join button below. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters and channel members whose names are rolling across the screen right now. Of course, if you want to help support the channel but you don't want to do it financially, that's fine. The best thing you can do is press the like button for this video and share it with your friends. And leave a comment. The YouTube algorithm loves a good comment. Go subscribe to the Anti-Gravity Group YouTube channel. If you go comment on the double Arcus video, I'll put the link in the description. I'm going to pick a random person who's going to win a $100 Wildman gift card once we hit 1,000 subscribers over there. My name is Braden Carlson. You just watched a Rocket Vlogs video, and I will see you all next time.